Today, we want to talk a little bit about Loki, the new series on Disney Plus, versus current Doctor Who. Of course, there are various similarities. They're all about traveling time and space. But I have to ask my fellow historian here, Kyle Jones, who's doing it better?
Well, who is always doing it better if who is the name we're looking for? But if we're looking for recent enjoyment, I'm going to have to say I enjoyed Loki a lot more than recent Doctor Who. And I lowered my voice as I'm thinking that because I'm wondering, is that blaspheme to say?
Well, they are very different stories, but there are similarities. I've been reading through some articles, and people are saying the timekeepers are very similar to the Time Lords. If you want to go back to Classic Who, or how they were dictating what our Doctor did, it's just interesting because we have this show, which I had no idea that they'd be traveling through time and space, which our Doctor, of course, does on Doctor Who, and I don't know if it's just the things they're doing are more interesting, or maybe it's just the overall story that they have surrounding it that makes the time travel much more appealing. And that's kind of what we don't have in Doctor Who. We don't really have this overall purpose, a glorious purpose around
Yeah,
the
and
story.
I think that's the what we've been missing in series 11 and series 12, and now we're not getting definitive story perhaps.
What do you think we can do on the Doctor Who side, or the showrunners, or Chris Chibnall, your favorite showrunner, what he could do to possibly or bring back maybe this whole overall story or overall glorious purpose to what Doctor Who is doing? Because I mean, I think part of the appeal of Doctor Who is that you are going from place to place and you are experiencing something new most of the time in each area or each place in time and space that you go. But also it is interesting in Loki where we have this bigger scope of purpose of what they're doing that makes it much more interesting. And again, Loki is not all about traveling in time and space. It's just a tool that's used to get from one part of the story to the next.
But it's funny that we're not the only people who are bringing up this question about is Loki doing what Doctor Who isn't? So
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
true.
just us thinking that. I just don't know what's not clicking boxes for people.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, other than I can't help but wonder, just because I'm a fan of a franchise and I am a good writer doesn't necessarily mean I am a good showrunner.
Yeah, definitely true. Definitely true.
I don't know what it's like to be in Chibnall's shoes. I mean, I have seen the fruits of RTD's labors. Have seen the fruits of Russell T Davies. I just don't know if the vision is there.
And also, just to pivot a little bit, people have been making comparisons between Jodie Whittaker and Sophie DiMartino. And this is kind of weird to say, but a woman portraying a character that was once a guy, and how they're doing at that job. And I think it's still very different because Doctor Who is very much a different show from what you have on Loki. But that being said, people have been trying to say that she should be the next Doctor Who. Because he is awesome, I will admit that. But like you just said, a lot of it has to do with the writing and the showrunners and the whole production.
And I think I don't blame this on Jodie Whittaker, but I saw Joe Martin for a total of probably less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I feel more solid in what I think her version of who her version of the Doctor is in 20 minutes than I do of 2 series of Jodie Whittaker. And I fault Chibnall in part for that. I think she was given, so I don't want to, the last thing I want to do is say woman can't be the Doctor, because that's why I'm prefaced with Joe Martin. I know who she is. I know her characteristic, and I know I want more. I don't know if I think the same about Jodie Whittaker.
How dare you?
And I feel bad about that because I'm so afraid that it's going to come across as woman can't be the Doctor. And I don't want, and that's not my thing. But what do you think?
I don't know. Again, I think it has a lot to do with the writing, overall direction of the show. I will say I do like Sophie DiMartino. Just, I mean, her character as a female Loki is very different than what Jodie Whittaker's character is. I don't know. I think it's a lot of the maybe just what they're doing on screen is just what makes a huge difference. I'm not that sold on Joe Martin Doctor as you are. I mean, I think she was fine, but I wasn't just head over heels for her character when I saw her. I thought she was just okay. So I don't know. I think it just comes down to the writing and the show running. I really do. Going back to the overall show, I think it was rumored that when Chibnall pitched his idea for Doctor Who for the next phase, he was given it because he was thinking so far out the box that they wanted to try it. And now that we're almost several years in, a couple seasons in, I don't feel like what he's done is that different. That's weird to say because it is different, but not different in a good way and not extreme enough to warrant just such a huge shift in thinking of the show. Just comparing it to Loki, I think you could, if you really, really, really think outside of the box, you can have just an amazing series of Doctor Who. If you really think about outside of the box, now that could be going against what we already know, which that might be why some people don't like the timeless children thing. But I don't know. I think there's huge potential. But I think somebody really is going to have to shake it up.
Yeah. And the good thing about the Loki series is there's nothing else of Loki for us to compare it to.
Yeah.
So for us and for others that are comparing, they are two different.
They're very different.
Every single thing was new.
Absolutely.
It's hard to pull out what that one thing is that isn't.
Yeah. Everything has changed.
Yeah. But that's
right.
part of it. It's about change. So there you go. And that's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap up this video. Thank you all for joining. Please hit the like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.
Awesome. Bye.